It's time to go back to the basics. Lost the fundamentals and now we are hard to play with. Acting super brewish but westernizing our thinking. Culture over kingdom.
Okay. And love is ahav. Ahav. This is the Hebrew word for love. So when we look at love, the part hav, it means to give. And when the aleph is prefixed to a word, it's always first person future tense when the aleph is prefixed into a word. And so it means, so when the aleph is prefixed to a word, it means I will. Okay, it's just I will. And so when we look at ahav, right, it's pretty much the essence of love is I will always give. So when we think about love, it's about unconditional love. I'm willing to give my time, myself, my resources, everything to Yah. That is the essence of what love is. That I'm willing to give my all to the Most High, right? Continuously. Love does not care about your emotions. I'll say it again. Love does not care about how somebody treated you, or if somebody's being wicked to you, or treating you bad, or throwing dirt in your name, or doing this or doing that, or trying to defame you. That don't mean nothing. Love is being able to serve people, even the ones that get on your nerves and you don't like. You should still be able to love and serve regardless. That's what love look like. Me serving and living by Torah, even with somebody spitting in my face. I should be able to still serve and still turn the other cheek and still have a smile on my face. This is the real picture of love, right? Love doesn't have ulterior motives. Love doesn't have none of that stuff. It's very clear. Love is action. Always serve, always give, always do. This is how it is. Let's go to Matthew 19. This is a picture of what love is not. Let's go to Matthew 19. Or Matthew, the 19th chapter. We're going to look at the young rich ruler and how he followed Torah, but he wasn't really following Torah. We're going to see why. Because there was no love in his heart. So let's go to Matthew 19, and I'm going to start in verse 16. It says, and behold, one came and said unto him, good master, what good thing shall I do that I may have eternal life? This is an important question people are asking. He said unto him, why callest thou me good? There is none good but one, that is God. But if thou wilt enter into life, keep the commandments. He said unto him, which? Yahshua said, and he lists the ones. Thou shalt do no murder. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt not bear false witness. Honor thy father and thy mother. And thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. So pause right there. So he listed to the young rich ruler the essence of the bottom 6 commands. Those are the ones that he emphasized to the young rich ruler. The ones that are centered towards fellow man. I thought that was interesting. So let's keep going. And the young man saith unto him, all of these things have I kept from my youth up. What lack I yet? What lack I yet? Yahshua said unto him, if thou wilt be perfect, go and sell that thou hast and give to the poor, and thou shalt have treasure in heaven, and come and follow me. But when the young man heard that saying, he went away sorrowful, and he had great possessions. So we see that the young rich ruler did not have unconditional love within him. He served to a point. He served with a boundary. He served when he felt like he wanted to. See, just because you follow the letter of the Torah, or you quote unquote do righteous deeds here and there, don't mean you're righteous. Don't mean you're in the right standing with the Most High. Because the Most High wants you to serve not only him, but he also thinks it's just as important to serve other people. So the young rich ruler, he didn't have it in his heart to do that. It saddened him to do something like that. But this is what the commands, this is the essence of the Torah. Serve God, serve man. That's the essence. And he didn't want to fulfill that. So he did not have unconditional love. Unconditional love was missing in the young rich ruler. You follow me? He wasn't even a bad, he's not necessarily he was a bad person. He wasn't necessarily a super wicked man. He followed the law, followed the Torah. But there was some in him, he didn't have a desire to serve like that. So therefore, he wasn't good enough. He just wasn't good enough because he didn't have that in his heart to serve. He didn't have that love within him like that. So now, let's go to Matthew 5. We're going to look at what unconditional love looks like. Okay, so Matthew 5 is 43 through 48. So let's go to verse 43. And it says, ye have heard that it hath been said, thou shalt love thy neighbor and hate thine enemy. But I say unto you, love your enemies, bless them that curse you, do good to them that hate you, and pray for them which despitefully use you and persecute you. So I stop right there. We are to love folks that hate us, that try to curse us, that use us, and that persecute us. We still supposed to love them. We still supposed to serve them. We still supposed to treat them like they ain't did nothing to us. See, that's easier said than done. Because me personally, there's been people in my life that have treated me like the scum of the earth. And when I tell you it's hard for me to serve these people, it's very hard. But I have to do it. Because for them to turn around and to understand who Yahshua is, what the Torah is, I have to embody the Torah. Even if they treat me wrong, I got to embody it. I got to put my ego aside and still serve them, be hospitable, be loving, even when they don't want to love me. I got to be that way. We all got to be that way. We have to find it within us to get to a point to where we can love everybody unconditionally, regardless. We got to get the biases and assumptions that we have about the world and about nationalities and about people out of our head. We got to get this stuff out of our head, because that stuff is keeping us divided. It's keeping us from serving. It's keeping us from being what Yah called us to be, because we assume that these people like this. We assume that these people like that. We assume that Christians going to do this. We assume that Israelites, they be like this. We assume that Muslims, they terrorists. We assume that this. We do too much assuming, have too much assumptions, too many stereotypes, and therefore it keeps us from loving. This is why the world's so disarrayed the way it is. Now we have so many Messianic believers and Jews and Israelites and Jewish folks all over the place, scattered all over the place. But this world is still decaying. Why? Because we have a bunch of Jews, a bunch of Israelites, a bunch of people following the Torah, but we still divided as a nation. We got racism between black and white Jews. We got folks denying oral Torah. We got all kinds of stuff going on in the nation of Israel. Right? So we got to get back to the essence. Our heart needs to be circumcised. We need to circumcise that heart. We need to be circumcised, right? So now, let's go to 1 Corinthians. Let's just talk about that. 1 Corinthians, we're going to look at love, what love looks like. This is even more in depthly. So let's go to 1 Corinthians chapter 13, through verses 1 through 13. Just talking about just love. A lot of verses, a lot of translations say charity, but a lot of us say love as well. So, and it says, though I speak with tongues of men and of angels and have not love, I am become a sounding brass or a tinkling cymbal. Right? So you can have great tongue all you want, but if ain't no love in you, you're just making a bunch of loud noise. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains, and have no love, I am nothing. So once again, you can be following the letter to the T. You got all the spiritual understanding. You got all kinds of Solomon kind of wisdom. You know about the sages. You know about all this kind of commentary. You've read the Bible backwards and forwards 1,000 times. You ain't got no love in your heart. It don't mean nothing. Let's see. And it says, though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not love, it profited me nothing. So you can even give to folks and have ulterior motives behind how you give. It still don't mean nothing, because you're giving because you're looking for something in return. That ain't love either. So if you're giving expecting return, that ain't even love. Once again, love is unconditional. I should be able to give and not even expect nothing back. Let's see. Love suffer long. Love suffer long. See, love is not a temporary thing. It's not, okay, I'll do it. Okay, I'm tired now. You get on my nerves. I'm done now. No, it suffers long. And is kind. Love envy not. So if you jealous and envious of somebody, that ain't love either. Love vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, right? Self-righteousness. That ain't love either. Doeth not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, is not easily provoked. So dang, it says love is not easily provoked. So if you always easily provoked and let people get under your skin, you ain't got no love in you either. Let's see. Nor her own, is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil. Dang, love thinks no evil. Rejoice not in iniquity, but rejoice in truth. If there's any iniquity that we're rejoicing in, we need to get that out of our system right now. Bear all things, believe all things, hope all things, endure all things. Love never fail, but whether there be prophecies, they shall fail. Whether there be tongues, they shall cease. Whether they be knowledge, it shall vanish away. See, love don't go nowhere. For we know in part and prophesy in part, but when that which is perfect is come, then that which is in part shall be done away. When I was a child, I speak as a child. I understood as a child. I thought as a child. But when I became a man, I put away childish things. For now we see through a glass darkly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, but then shall I know, even as also I am known. And now abide faith, hope, love, these three, but the greatest of these is love. This is the greatest of all these is love, because love shows where your heart is at. That's why it's the greatest thing. That's why, Yahshua spoke so much about how the totality of the Torah is love. Why? Because if you don't have no love, all the other stuff you do don't mean anything, because you're not being your best self if you don't operate in love. That's how you ascend to all the levels we talked about, the 5 levels. You have to have love as the base of everything you do. So just reading this shows that love can't be conditional. Love doesn't have ulterior motives. Love is the willingness to serve for the benefit of others, not yourself. That's what love is. Love looks like Abraham and Abimelech. That time when Abraham, prayed for Abimelech's house womb to be open, when he hasn't even got his child yet. So he's still struggling with his own promise. He's still worried that he ain't gonna get no son. It's been years and years and years waiting for a child. Once I told him this back when he was 70, he about 90-some years old, he's still waiting on his dang promise. Like, when am I gonna get this child? It seems impossible now. I don't even believe it no more. What's going on? He's struggling with his promise. He was able to pray for Abimelech's womb in his household to be opened up while he's struggling with his own stuff. See, that's love. Whenever I'm struggling with something, whenever I'm dealing with something, I still have the strength to help somebody else. That's true love. That's what I struggle with. I'm going through stuff, I ain't worried about nobody else. I'll be like, fix me first. I ain't worried about nobody else. But that ain't the way to operate. I say this all the time. Since we're in this way, we have to be strong enough to carry the weaknesses of other people. That's how we should operate. We have to be strong enough to put ourselves last and others first. Bottom line, no matter what's going on in our life, no matter what's going on, it could be death, it could be lost finances, lost job, whatever different stuff that happens in our life. I used to be strong enough to pray, to help, to serve other people. Period. That's what love looked like. I'm struggling with my own stuff, but I still have the strength to pray for somebody else and bless somebody else. So we have to be strong enough to bless others, even when